Hey guys, welcome back to Pointing Adventures. I'm Steven.
And I'm Gina. And today's video is a bit nostalgic for us. I might get just a little teary-eyed.
I might as well, because we're going to take you through our journey with our Winnebago Solis PX that we nicknamed Miss Gypsy.
We're going to talk about all our memories with Miss Gypsy, what we liked, what we disliked, and ultimately why we decided to sell it.
We're also going to touch on what's next for us, what our plans are, and what we're thinking for the future.
And hopefully we get to hear from you, because we want to hear all about your RV experiences. That way we get to learn from each other.
We really want to build a supportive community around Pointing Adventures, a place where you can come and ask questions and get information on all things RVing, travel, and adventure. So if you're new to our channel, please like, share, and subscribe, and help us expand Pointing Adventures' reach.
Okay, so let's get started with the good times. Miss Gypsy was our home on wheels. And some of my favorite memories are the trip to Vermont, for sure. It was in the fall. It was absolutely gorgeous. That crazy hike you almost killed me on in Vermont. And number 3 was going to all the local wineries and local shops and cheese shops and just eating at the van afterwards.
And I think my favorite memory was the first time we took her out. It was August of 2021. It was my birthday. And we went to the whole Gatlinburg Pigeon Forge area. I remember hitting Dollywood and Dolly Parton's hometown. That was very cool. Again, we did another hike. It wasn't that bad for us, but it was a struggle for my parents. And for me, on that trip was the first time that the Gypsy really started to feel like home. So when did it start to feel like home for you?
Definitely that Vermont trip, just because it was a very long trip. I think it was like 2.5 weeks that we took off. So it really started feeling like home. We had to come back to the Gypsy every night. We had to drive her through all these states and all these different towns. And it just became our safe haven.
And I think that that's why the decision to sell was so tough, because Miss Gypsy felt like a home for both of us. So it still stings a little, but we are looking ahead towards the future.
Yeah, and we have many more adventures to come.
There was so much to love about traveling in the Gypsy. For one was the sense of freedom. We could go anywhere we wanted at any time. The second thing for me was maneuverability. So if you were in a parking lot, it was real easy to park in tight spaces, and going down the road, it just felt like driving a big car. And I think the third feature that I liked was the garage. It was a big area in the back of the van. It's where you accessed all your utilities. And it also was big enough that we could put our e-bikes back there, or even some extra luggage. And by the way, if you want to take a look at a full kind of walk around review of the van, there's 2 of them on our channel. We did one right after we got the van, and then we did another after about 5,000 miles. So if you really want to do a more in-depth van tour, go on the channel and check those out.
Absolutely, and some of the features I loved about the van was that cozy bed. I slept better in that bed than in our own bed. Having the dogs was such a plus when we could take them with us. And 2, that kitchen was pretty huge.
Yeah, it's like the van had almost everything we needed. It was nearly perfect for us, but...
I agree 100%. There's a couple of things that I didn't need. For instance, in the kitchen, we did not need that large burner. We could have done without, because we hardly used it. And 2, I could always use more storage. But like anything else, it's not 100% perfect. And there's some features that we weren't that crazy about.
Yeah, for example, we had issues with our dogs. We have 2 very big dogs, and the inside of the van was fairly narrow. So it felt like no matter where we put their beds, or no matter where we were trying to walk around the van, we were always kind of on top of each other.
Yeah.
So after a lot of thought, we decided it's time to part ways and sell Miss Gypsy. And I think one of the main reasons was we didn't get to use it enough. So having something sitting in the driveway that's north of 6 figures, it started to feel like a waste. Don't you agree?
I agree. Ultimately, it was a very hard decision to make, but it was the right one. And we didn't have enough space for the dogs, and they're a family.
Yeah, so I think in the future, if we have another rig, We're gonna focus on that floor space and just make sure that we're all comfortable.
Babe, there's just still a lot to think about and do.
So let's just say this. Regardless of what happens, we're gonna start putting out a lot more adventure-based content, and we're gonna bring you guys along for the ride.
Well, let's wrap up the video by saying we had a great time with Miss Gypsy. We laughed a lot, made great memories, learned a lot, and really we can't wait to bring more memories to you guys.
And thanks for watching this video today. We'd love to hear all about your experiences out on the road. And if you have any questions, just leave them down in the comments. We'll get back to those as soon as possible.
Yeah, so like, subscribe, and hit that bell icon.
That way, you're not going to miss out on any of our future Point A adventures.